Hello, Divine Goddesses, and welcome. I'm Belle from the Intuitive Goddess Academy. How are you? So, sorry, it took a bit while. I had to find everything to get ready, and the camera seems like it's on an angle, but that's okay. Alright, let's just make sure we're in the right spot before we begin our reading for the week, what to focus on. Beautiful. Hang on, let me just get it all set up. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to, these readings are done every Monday morning at roughly around 9ish. I say 9ish because just had school run this morning, and hi Sheena, but there was an accident unfortunately somewhere, so it was a bit built up with traffic, understandably so. So this reading is about, what to focus on for the week, give insight to what's happening or some areas to focus on to get you through the week. So first of all, I use the Heal Yourself cards, and with this card, and I always do it in my readings, this card is, hi Betty, what are we going to, what's a block, shadow or fear that's there? So what is a block, shadow, fear to focus on for this week? Because last week we had our cycle, so if you want to, you can always go back and watch these videos. These are for when you're watching it, whenever you're watching this at any particular time, this is right for you. This is when you're meant to be hearing it. So whether it's now, a week, a month, 6 months or 12 months or later down the track, it's a perfect time to hear this reading. And even if it's later on down the track, if you've got any questions, please pop them down. I do love questions. So, hang on, because let's pull a card. Right, I've got heaps of decks out, so it's just a matter of going with what I'm intuitively guided to. So this one is sexuality. So sexuality is always an interesting one because we're all like, ooh, do we talk about it or don't we, And as women, over a long period of time, if we enjoyed sex or anything like that, it was, we're a whore, we're a slut, it's supposed, sex is all mainly about the man, which is really interesting considering it takes two to do it, but this is about owning your sexual energy, getting in tune with your sexuality. There's so much power in our sexuality and owning our energy and really using that energy in multiple ways. It doesn't mean you have to go out and have sex. Maybe not. Maybe it does. It depends on what is your sexual energy telling you. Sexual energy is really cool to use for creativity and getting things done and all that kind of stuff. So this is really about standing more in your power, but owning your own energy and really being comfortable. And, and this is also about pleasure, how much pleasure is there in your life, not just in a sexual way, but also in every other aspect of your life. How much, hi Betty, how much pleasure do you allow in? Do you allow yourself to be pleased and all that kind of stuff? So I feel like the block is there by allowing more pleasure in our life in all aspects. We allow for good things to come into our life. We increase our vibration. We want to have we all here, we want to manifest all these things in our life. We want to have better things in our life, a deeper love in our life, and all this kind of stuff. So how much pleasure do you allow in your life, by opening that up? You're saying to the universe, yes, I want to manifest A, B, and C, but how open are you to receiving? And a really cool way, hi Sarah, a really great way to see how well you're open to receiving is when someone pays you a compliment, whether it's, oh, your hair looks great today, or geez, those clothes look really good on you, and oh wow, that was great work. What is your reaction? Is it, oh wow, thank you, that's open to receiving? Oh no, this daggy dress, oh no, I haven't washed my hair, it's a bit, needs a cut or needs a colour or whatever, that's closed off. That's not open to receiving. That's just shutting it down straight away and saying no. So when you're trying to manifest and all that kind of stuff, are you open to receiving? And compliments, I find, is a really cool one to really see how open you are to receiving. Sheena, I did a very interesting workshop over the weekend about hunting the pleasure. Oh, interesting. How exciting. And it is. We're slowly starting to hear more and more about, pleasure and sexuality and all that kind of stuff. Like, there is so much power in owning our sexuality. And It's even to the point where even when it does come to, sexual intimacy, are you open? Do you know how to be pleased? Do you know the way you like to be pleased? Do you speak up and say, no, I don't like that, but hey, I like this? There's nothing wrong with that. Holding back there is. It's about being, and there's nothing wrong with that. How many times have you been with a partner and they've said, I like this and I like that, let's do this, let's do that, and you want to please them? It's a two-way street. Our kids are growing up and heading into teenage years, and especially with the girls, it's kind of like, hey, you know what? Sex isn't a two-way street, Yeah, hi Cheryl, it's good to please your partner, but what about you? You've got to make sure it's a two-way street. Sex wasn't just there for men, it was for women as well. Yes, we have a clitoris, and how amazing is that we have a clitoris that is just for pleasure. We have a beautiful place in our body that is just strictly, I'm getting goosebumps, for pleasure. It's there to be used regardless of what has been said in the patriarchal world and certain religions and all that sort of stuff. One of the other things, we talk about, and one of our things with the Academy is about confidence. So, and when we orgasm, there are amazing hormones that release in our body. So this is, on a anatomy and physiology level, there's a huge amount of hormones that are released. And one of those hormones is actually testosterone. And that actually gives us a bit of confidence and makes us feel good and all that kind of stuff. So you can really see sometimes who is embraced by their sexuality and they're being receiving and open to pleasure. Gina, I'll just say one really good way to open up about pleasure is to sit in the sun and notice what pleasures you get from it. Oh, cool. I'm going to try that. Awesome. Try that, everyone. That's really cool. But, there's so much, we have this inbuilt pleasure, sacred space in our body. It's there to be used. It's not to be there. Thanks, Sarah. It's there to be used. It's there to, on a regular basis, I know, being a nurse and working in the hospital, and I did agency, so I worked on all different aspects, different wards, and especially oncology, which is your cancer ward. And it's one of those things. They say that even as with cancer and that, still have sexual intercourse as much as you can with your limits and things that are happening, but it's also too about getting those natural pain relievers, those natural hormones, and all that. And one of the things I remember growing up, and I found this comment really derogatory, and it was, she just needs a good root. And I'm like, that is so, wrong and all that. But you know what? The more I got older, the more, when I became a mum and was on a mum's forum and all that sort of stuff, I was like, holy shit, there is a lot of truth to that saying. Probably could be said a lot nicer, but it's true. When we're not having that pleasure, we're not having that orgasms and those releases, we're getting uptight, we're getting tense, and we're blocking that energy flow. Remember, everything is energy, even our bodies, our furniture, what you're sitting or standing on, our phones, everything is energy, and it just vibrates at different level. If you want to get into your chemistry and physics and all that sort of stuff, it's all there. So it all is vibrated at a different level. So we have our chakras in our bodies. We have our meridians, which I like to call them energy road maps. It's like looking at a road map, and we have all these energy lines in our body. When you're not releasing that sexual tension and allowing that sexual and that pleasure to come through, you're blocking it all up. So it's like, if you've ever been into a city where there's a roadblock, or something stopped and everything gets banked up. It banks up for miles and in all different directions and all that sort of stuff. That's how it works energetically on our bodies as well. So owning your sexuality is huge, and it's really letting go of, because with this card, what's the card to? There's a lot of stigma about women not liking, women aren't allowed to like sex, women aren't allowed to be in touch with their sexuality, women aren't allowed to be, use that pleasure. I've seen some really derogatory quotes on Facebook about women that, that shouldn't have a clitoris. But hang on, if you want to talk about God created us and all that sort of stuff, well, he created us with a pleasure space. It's there to be used. So there's a lot of power in getting in and knowing what you like. And even if you don't know what you like, explore it. It's a journey, Really explore it and be open with your partner about what you like and what you don't like. And if you don't know, find out, even with yourself. Do you know what I mean? This isn't just about, you need to rely on a partner for this. It's something within yourself, and really, even, if you're feeling a bit, turned on or anything like that. So I want to, you can use that energy. I get turned on, and not in a sexual way where I want to have sex, but, I get turned on by the work I do, because it's that energy, it's that flow and all that kind of stuff. And I've learned to really channel that into the work that I'm doing, and to really, channel that energy up and through me. So, it's a huge thing. And that card does come up often. And I feel like it's that is a block and a fear and a shadow for a lot of us. And, is it just on this life? We've sadly, on a lot of us, and I'm one, that have been sexually abused. And, I recommend the book by it's a biography of Vagina by Virginia Woolf. And it really goes in, and a warning is, it really goes into detail of, especially in some other countries, about rape, and it's really vicious. Like it's really, really full on and vicious. But one of the things that really stood out for me was, you can do a lot to a woman, but when you rape her internally through a vagina, it really takes the light out of her eyes and really dims it, because we have a womb space that's our magic, and it's where our gifts and everything are stored, our cycle and all that. Why do you think the patriarchal world tells us have been telling us for centuries that it's dirty, it's disgusting, it's sinful? I mean, when you look at it, they were created in there and given life in that space, but yet it's dirty, it's disgusting, because there's so much power in that. And when women are in tune with their cycle and their sexuality and all that sort of stuff, we're unstoppable. Our energy is phenomenal, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to share that, and we're here to express that. What an amazing, beautiful deck. What deck is it? It is, hang on, let me just hang on. So I've got a heap of decks out on, I'll just grab the book. It is Heal Yourself Reading Cards by Anana Segal. So that's the one I do. And I use them ones a lot for my shadow block cards when I do my readings. I just find they're a little bit darker, I get a lot out of them, and they really give you deep insight into that shadowy kind of fear block part. Betty, wow, this is so amazing. I'm going to have to get some errands done now, but we'll come back to this. Awesome. Have a great day, Betty. Thank you. And leave some comments later if you got questions or things come up or insights or anything like, please do share. The more women, tonight we have a women's circle intro, so I will put a link in later, but this is about women really getting together and supporting each other and all that. So next time, you're sitting there calling another woman a whore or a slut or anything like that, stop, because that's something that's triggered in with you. Why are you doing that? What's triggered within you? And you know what? That's not really supporting our sisterhood, how we used to do thousands of years ago. That's a patriarchal world that created that animosity and tension, and for us to think that it's right to turn on our sisterhood and to drag each other down. Because a huge saying we have in our house is, happy people lift other people up. When you're feeling good and happy about yourself, you want others to feel it, because it's so amazing and life is amazing. Unhappy people drag other people down to make them feel better about themselves. So, if someone's slagging off about you, again, they're doing that because there's something internal within them, and they want to make themselves feel better by putting you down. So it's not about you, it's about them. But if you're doing that, it's time now to become consciously aware and shift that and really let go of that old patriarchal bullshit. So the next card I'm going to pull a card from is the Chakra Reading Cards. Who's it by? Rachel Carmen. So this one, as I shuffle, this one is about looking at, with that sexuality energy, what is a chakra that we can, that is associated with this card. And later on you might want to even meditate and go into this chakra and see what's there for you, what's coming up for you with this. Ooh, interesting. I'm going to probably say that with all of them. So our root chakra. So our bottom one, and this is holistic health, and that's your catechus. So that's an old ancient symbol, and yeah. Snakes. So, okay, so your root chakra, very interesting. Not all, and this is just a generalization. When it comes to sex, a lot of men come from the root chakra. So your root chakra is about foundations, and it's more about that real primal sexual stuff. Majority of women, not all, again, this is just a generalization, come from the next chakra, which is your sacral chakra, which is orange, where it's more intimate and that pleasure and all that sort of stuff. And some men, and you can move through them, some men come from that sacral chakra, and they're very intimate, they're very affectionate, very kind of romantic too as well. So, and I'm really blessed, that's where Dave is. He's not really your kind of root chakra caveman kind of type. It is very much, and it's very different. But for us, for this one too, is at the base, when I looked at it and then saw the snakes, so the Kundalini energy. So it's really getting in touch. You know, when you get in touch with your sexual energy and really grasping it, accepting it, embracing it, expect massive shifts. But also too, at the base of our spine is our Kundalini energy, which are kind of like two coiled snakes there. We all have one. And, you know, once you get into that sexual energy, other things open up. And one of them is your Kundalini energy. And the power of this, I've felt mine a number of times and seen it even just in my third eye rising and all that kind of stuff. So it is quite powerful. Many things open up, different feelings, different sensations. It's kind of like another dimension opens up. So really, what I'm getting from this too is to go into your, get a quiet time and go into your root chakra. So it's a red, in your perineal area, which is between your bottom and your vagina kind of area. And really sort of just close your eyes, breathe, go into your root chakra and go, what is it there that you need to know? What is it there that is for your sexuality? And what I'm just picking up too, it's looking at, so, your root chakra is your saying solidness, but that's in solidarity, I don't know, but it's your foundations, your grounding and all that kind of stuff. So getting in touch with sexuality is really, hi Beck, is really getting in touch with that groundness and root and getting back to the foundations. I feel like for this card of sexuality, it's really getting back to the basics. So it's not really about sexuality with others, this is about partners. It's about getting in touch with your own sexuality, your own, how your feelings are, what are your thoughts on it, what's some healing that needs to be done there, So, and especially if you've been sexually abused, that's some deep, serious wounds that is there. There, and, it's, so for me, I know in my early 20s when I started doing Reiki, I did my first Reiki when I was 23, Reiki 1, and that really led me to open up to heal my sexual abuse. And so for me, the perpetrator actually was going to jail, had admitted it, there was only minor details. However, because they were going to jail, they didn't want to go to jail, so they committed suicide. But so many years after I was in my teens, I did a meditation because I just knew on some level, there's a lot of things I know, I don't know how I know, I think it's just that divine wisdom and knowledge that I didn't want that hurt, anger, and all that yucky, heavy stuff of that wound to carry on to my children or to affect my life in other aspects. And if you think they're not affecting you in some other aspects, it's because it's unconsciously known to you. Because I can tell you now, it is. But when you become aware of that, yes, it does affect your relationships with the opposite sex or, same sex or your children or family and everyone else, it absolutely freaking does. So for me, what I did is I went into a meditation and I saw the person and I spoke with them, and I absolutely didn't, and I said, I don't condone what you do. I would never ever condone that kind of behaviour it's just not acceptable. There's just no if, buts, maybes about it. But you know what? I forgive you and I forgive me. And I saw that, I guess that inner child in me, and went to them and spoke to them and told it was going to be okay. They are still loved and lovable. They've done nothing wrong, and really reclaimed that part of me of my childhood. And so, and that forgiveness. And I remember crying throughout this whole meditation And when I woke up, I had a jumper on. I lived in Melbourne at the time, so it was really cold, so I had a big jumper on, and I had this huge puddle, and I mean huge puddle of tears, because I remember looking down going, oh my goodness, like I didn't realise, like I knew I'd cried, but they were just tears pouring. They weren't like, I don't know. Anyway, so, and and normally when you cry, I know for me, after I have a big crying session, I feel very cathartic, I feel very tired, I feel, bleh. But after this, I actually came out of the meditation bouncing. I felt lighter, I felt just like a huge, we walk around carrying these huge baggage, and they're really heavy and they tie us down. So it was like I'd cut some of that baggage away, a huge part of that baggage, and let it go. So, and so even from then, hang on a minute. Pardon me. So, a lot of throat chakra stuff coming up and speaking my truth, because it's not always easy to talk about, but I talk about it because from my journey of healing that and working through that and that forgiveness process, because that's really hard, but it's vital. I share it because I want a role model. I know it can be done, and I know what it's like to carry that pain and that hurt and have those wounds open and having like salt in those wounds. It's painful and it affects all aspects of our life. And by sharing, I want to let you know that you can move through it. It can be healed. Yes, there's going to be a scar there. It's not going to go away. It's happened. But you can close that up. And for me, I've wanted to turn it around, and I saw the difference that it made in my life. And now I want to do the same for as many women as I can as well. So it can be healed. It can, turn that scar into a star. Like, that's something Dave said to me a couple of years ago. It was after Isaac died, and it was like, yeah, that was like a bit of an aha moment for me. So that's why, I share my story and my journey and all that kind of stuff, because it can be done. It's a choice whether we realize it or not. And it's one thing with all the shadow work and the quest work we're doing in the academy, and today we're starting segment, so transmuting anger and rage. And one of the things on the page in the workbook is about choice. You have a choice no matter what. Even if you go, I'm not making a choice here, that's still a choice. You still have a choice. You can have shitty A and shitty B. You've still got to choose between them, and you still got to make a choice. So, and this is why it's really important, vital, to get in touch with your intuition and really that connection and grounding and all that within, so you can make the better choice out of the shitty choices for you and your life. So, okay. And the other thing is too, just looking at that just as I flicked that around, was health. And we see, and if you look at the other video from last week about our cycles and all that, and the Wired and Wise Woman, so our PMS, and the reason why it's on the rise that we're on, with reproductive issues, especially for women, is because we're cut off. We're taught to cut off from that part of our womb space, our cycles and our sexuality and all that sort of stuff. And I was saying about those blocks and the meridian lines and the energy, and that's what's happening. So when you get the energy block, after a while it clogs up. That energy gets denser and denser and denser and denser, and then it actually goes into your body, and it will be manifest in a physical form. So getting in touch with your sexuality is also vital for your health. If you want good health and good, reproductive and womb space and all that kind of thing, getting in touch with your sexuality and connecting with it, owning your power with it, is also will help soothe some of those health effects, those physical effects that you are getting as well. So let's move on to some other cards. So what we do with the other cards is, I've got the Earth Wisdom. So I love these ones. These are like really witchy cards, Celtic ones. So Earth Wisdom, as we move, I call them, I think there's still some stuck in the book, is goddess ways. And what I mean by goddess ways, they're ways and tips and like soul work to move through this. Readings are great to bring up all this, but hey, what's the best way to, at this point in time, to work through it? What are things to focus on and move through it? So we'll give them a shuffle with the goddess way tips of, like the sexuality, block, fear, shadow work. Okay, so heal thyself. So again, this is going, I think this is really a confirmation card of going and like with the holistic health and really going in and looking at and stop looking out of you for answers. Let's stop looking outside for somebody to fix you. Nobody can fix you. Again, nobody can make you feel a certain way unless you allow them to. So this is about really going in with yourself, and even asking in your heart chakra, your heart space, or going into that root chakra and saying, what is it that I need to do at this point in time to heal? What is it that this wound needs, or what is it that I need at this point in time to step into my sexuality and own, what are some of those bags I need to cut away, and those luggages and those heavy things I've been carrying around for all these times. And this could be past life as well. So this doesn't necessarily mean it's in this lifetime too. There's stuff that we carry on from the past lives as well. And that's great. But, we've brought over wounds or lessons from past lives, but also too, you've got to look at it, you've brought over gifts as well. So there's some amazing gifts and things that you've learned. So it's a lot of remembering. You have all this stuff inside of you, and it's about remembering and healing yourself. So this is really, it's like when you look at that card, it looks like she's letting something go in the water. So, really do some things to do that I'm picking up with this is write a letter. If you have been abused in some way, write a letter to that person and tell them all you feel. Let all that anger, let all that upset, all that hurt and all that crap just out. If tears fall, allow the tears to fall. That is part of the healing process. Holding those tears down, again, it means just stuffing that emotion down. It's not getting flowing. Again, it's blocking, it's causing those, energy blocks as well. Write it all down, and getting this all out allows for shifts to happen, that you're unclogging those energy blocks, and so yes, there's going to be a lot of emotion stuff there. And if you haven't been abused or anything like that, look at it and go, okay, go into your sexuality and go, okay, sexuality, what is it that I need to do to heal? Or what steps can I take to, embrace you more and, be more connected? So I feel like letter writing here, and there's a lot of water here. So it's a lot of, letting go of emotions and allowing the emotions to flow. And by doing that, things are going to come up, but it's also putting some light in the shadow. You can see there's lots of glowy things happening all up here and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, this goes really deep, and I do feel there's going to be a lot of past life stuff for a lot of you that come up with this. So again, just go with it, allow it, and ask, what is it that I need to heal? What steps do I need to take? The answers are already within you. So I'm going to do the Earth Warrior cards next. Let's see if I've got them up there right now. So these ones are beautiful. Although I can't say a lot of them, but that's okay. I can still look at the drawing and the energy. And sometimes the cards are just there. I've looked at cards and gone, oh, I don't even know how that's related when looking at that picture, but it's an intuitive thing. My intuition comes before these cards. That's, these are just guides and tools and prompts and all that kind of stuff. So what is our goddess way from the Earth Warriors for our sexuality to move forward and through this and embrace? The beautiful place, Amaru. The working, who is it? Alana Fairchild. Her cards are just stunning. Like a lot of her cards. Line keeps coming up a lot lately. So, and that's about standing in your power, owning it. And, again, I know it's been brought up a few times, but a lion is about, yes, they can be ferocious, the king of the jungle, and tear apart things and animals and people and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? When they relax, they relax. When they're sitting there and watching their cubs or, with their lioness, they're totally relaxed and they're just laying there lapping it up. So this is also too about, their sexuality is also about when you need to be switched on, but also switch off and switch off fully. If you've got time, and you need to make time because we all have the same amount of time, to relax and enjoy and have that pleasure, make sure you're fully present in it. Really let go and go, you know what, the rest can wait till later. It's not going to go anywhere or anything like that. But you know what, pleasure, allowing that pleasure in is, what did I say? I just have a blank. Letting that pleasure in is filling your cup up. That's what it was. Is about filling your cup up. And if you want to give more to people, you need to make sure your cup is overflowing. So when your cup is overflowing, it means you've got plenty to give. When you don't fill your cup up, it's the stuff that you love to do for people and for yourself, you become resentful, you become tired, you become worn out, and all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't make it fun anymore, and what you love doesn't become that way anymore. But when you're taking the time up to fill your cup up, the more you can give to others. And also too, when you take that time out, that means that when you do go to either be with your kids or your family or work or whatever, you've got more quality. When your cup's not filled up and you're keep giving and all that sort of stuff, it's kind of half-assed because you don't have the energy, which is completely understandable. You don't have the energy to keep giving. So this is about filling your cup up and, you know, making sure that, you know, when you do give, it's at top quality. It'll be better than you ever can. So, you know, make sure when you're in, make that time to relax, make time to open to that pleasure. Really, you know, take the time to do this meditation, to do this release letter or letters. You know, you may need to do it more than once. You might need to do it for a few people. Or, you know, the interesting thing with doing those letters for somebody is, and I say don't censor it, don't let your head get in the way. Just write up. I found a number of times when I've done that, when I've been angry at somebody and I've done those letters, and as I've gone deeper and as I've kept writing and allowing to whatever flow, and whether I can read it, and I mean my writing's hard enough to read on a good day, but you know, it's just about that process and getting out. But a fair few times I've been really blown away with how many times the writing, the root of it and the cause of it wasn't what I was really angry about at the start. So, which is great because it gave me deeper insight to shift more, to work more, and all that sort of stuff. So, really writing those letters. And the other thing is too, with this, when we stuff things down too, you know, they don't go anywhere. They're there, and you know, really, you get a rug. How much shit can you sweep under a carpet before it explodes? You can only put so much shit in there before it explodes. So when we're getting eruptions like road rage and burst and even moodiness, it's because we're not honouring these feelings and these emotions that are coming up. And like I said, sexuality is a really powerful, potent energy, and if we're continually denying it and shoving it down and, you know, allowing the gremlin to tell us we're dirty and we're wrong in the patriarchal society, we're really causing a lot of dis-ease and disharmony in our life. So be the lion and really get, when you're in one space, make sure you're fully focused and really present in that moment. So the next card is the Soulful Woman. I think these cards are beautiful for these readings. They've really been really getting a lot of wow, like potent ones from the cards. So what is for this from the Soulful Woman? What is the message that for a goddess way? Or the message I feel for this one is just to really remember and embrace while focusing on unraveling, unfolding, and our sexuality. Creative cocooning. Creative cocooning is a freedom I give myself. I create a safe nest for peace, healing, and calm. So yes, beautiful. And I love seeing this in her head, how she's got some eggs there. So that's the thing, you know, with our creativity, you know, being creative, whether it's cooking, gardening, swimming, doing artwork or drawing or writing and all that sort of stuff. The beautiful thing, it's kind of like meditation. You're allowing your head to quiet, that gremlin gets quieter, and you're allowing your intuition to come out and be heard a lot more. So really stepping into that. So, you know, and again, you know, I said earlier about, you know, with when you feel turned on or that sexual energy, you don't necessarily have to go have sex. You can use it to do some work or use it for your creative. They go in hand, that they kind of they complement each other. So really getting in tap. So it can be when you're feeling that way, do some creativity. Even if you're not feeling that way, get into some creative space and get those creative juices flowing so you can really embrace and harness and make it work for you, that sexual energy. So that's a really beautiful card. Okay, so these ones Dave reads a lot of, although he's loving his fairy deck at the minute, is a Sacred Rebel. And again, what is it that for the, you know, the Goddess Way for sexuality? Oops, and they're all falling out. For the sexuality to move forward, embrace, enhance, reconnect, and have that deep connection with our sexual energy. Oh yeah, perfect. Follow your own rhythm. Some water. Okay, so remember, we're all divine, we're all unique, you're all got your own authentic way. And this is about really, yes, it's great as a sisterhood to come together to talk about this and to share our stuff and all that, but this is not about comparing. We're all at different, and this isn't even an age thing, because I cop this a lot about being my age and especially my early 20s. You know, everyone has their own rhythm and at your stage and at your own pace. There is no right, there is no wrong. If you just because you're in your 50s and you're only just starting this journey, or if you've always been on this journey, it doesn't matter. It's about honouring you and your journey, where you're at and the way you're doing it. You don't have to do it like anyone else. You just have to do it the way that feels right for you. So really getting in tuned and really, what is it within you? What is your intuition, your inner goddess saying to you and wanting you to do? That's what's right for you. Sure, you know, get into a sisterhood, you know, that's what we have in the academy. Share, ask questions and all that kind of stuff. But what is it that, you know, but it's about honouring your cycle and following your own way. And, you know, I'm feeling like dance. How many of you dance? Like, and, you know, yes, you can dance to the radio or even get some drumming music. I mean, YouTube, we have so much resources at our fingertips now with the internet. It's more than ever. You know, so really get into that and just sort of, and I'm not saying dance to the latest, you know, video hits or anything like that. This is about closing your eyes and just having the music and feel the music. Allow the music to move through your body. How does it move your body? And just allowing that to flow. And, you know, I found this to be amazing with, feelings of anger or stuck energy, you know, really dancing and just getting that flow and just really allowing it to happen. And I know I did this a few months ago and it was like, holy shit, because there was this real heavy energy in my middle. And by doing it, I could actually literally feel it moving all the way up my body. And, you know, and there was tears and then it just moved out of my body. It was kind of like, and I felt lighter for it. I'm not sure what that was, but you know what? I'm not really fast. I'm not going to keep going on it. It's gone. It's shifted. And, you know, and so it's really, you know, dance the way that feels right for you. Get your body moving. Get the energy flowing. But really, again, like, you know, we had our cycles last week looking at menstrual cycles. And, you know, we all have a different cycle, different messages, different things. But, you know, it's really potent and there's a lot of magic in there. So, you know, what is your rhythm? What is it that you like to do? What is it that moves you? And, you know, and allowing and embracing it and going, you know what, this is where I'm at and that's perfect for me, you know, is also owning your power and really connecting with your magic and your magical gifts and your magic in your womb space. So really connecting to that womb space. So follow your own path or rhythm, you know, and really not beating yourself up. Oh, you know, she's been doing this longer than, or she's been doing this journey the spiritual journey less than me, and you know, I should be. No shoulds. No comparison. Comparing actually damages. It gives, not damaging, but it actually is like detrimental to you and your soul and to your energy and all that. You're not meant to be like anyone else. You weren't born to be like somebody else. You were born to be you, uniquely, divine, authentically you. Okay, one more card. And I don't know if I've done these ones here, but Dave and I use them a lot with our sale, like, because we do our own readings every night time. It's the Magdalene codes. So again, Mary Magdalene, if you really go into her, a lot of sexual energy, you know, she embraced her sexuality. She was a teacher. She was full of wisdom and it was really much in her power. So one, you know, there's a goddess to call on, you know, if you want to open up your sexuality and have some energy or support from a goddess, call on Mary Magdalene. Beautiful, about owning and, you know, stepping into and embracing your sexuality and your sexual power and all that kind of stuff. No, it doesn't mean she was a prostitute from the Bible. That was just a spin on somebody else's. I urge you, if you are into that, really look at Mary Magdalene and her partner at all, and what she did and all that sort of stuff, but not from a Bible point of view. That's a patriarchal aspect. That's just one aspect, and really just go into what feels right for you and really connect with her. Go into meditation, talk to her, ask her, what do you need to do? What insights or messages does she have for you, or steps or goddess ways for you? These readings are, and the things that I'm sharing are just that. They're just tips and things and my perspective and my journey. And I really encourage you to go find your own answers in the way of going, if some of the stuff sounds like shit, that's perfectly okay. If it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't have to resonate with you. But I then encourage you to go do your own journey work and find out what does resonate with you. That's what I want to know. I'm not here to see if I'm right or wrong. I want to know, what moves you from inside. What's your sexuality journey? What's, are you connected? Are you disconnected? If you're embracing it, how did you do it? How do you find it? What were the benefits of it? What were some of the challenges? Feel free to pop in. I know in, I think I'm correct, September in the Academy, we're looking at sexuality and journeying with Goddess Freya and really embracing our sexuality there as well. Okay, so what does Mary Magdalene have to say with the sexuality? Oops, jeez. Okay, mythic reality. Beautiful. Okay. When you start embracing your sexuality and really owning it, and really, even when you're having, when you're sexually intimate with your partner, are you in your headspace? Or are you just letting go of that headspace and feeling it? This has been, I know, a huge one for me, and very much the Virgo mind constantly. It's been a huge journey, especially over the last couple of years, of really learning to feel and allowing my emotions to come through and being able to cry. Like, I'm very big on supporting everyone else to cry, but me crying was a big no-no in front of anyone and all that. And it has changed and it's shifted and it's still, peeling back that onion. But really learning to, and I'm blessed that I'm in an amazing relationship and I can unfold and be myself and really explore my depths and my shadows and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very blessed to have an amazing husband. And with the sexual side, I've really, and the abuse and all that kind of stuff, it's peeling back that onions on so many layers and really learning to feel it and just to allow it. And how does it feel? And it's been foreign because I'm like, it's not, I don't know, like it's not what I was taught or anything. This is just something I've learned on my journey. But I want to share with other women so they can too. And and in that orgasmic state, seeing and just feeling, it really intensifies your orgasms. Like, oh my God, and things just open up and feelings that I've never felt before and all that kind of thing. And also too, it's, there is a whole world out there, in another reality and happening. So it's really opening yourself up. And when you embrace your sexuality, it opens up your gifts. You'll be able to connect with other aspects and other things. And whatever your gifts are, whether they are so many different gifts, like it's hard to sort of start, where do you start, whether it's seeing auras or it is connecting to other realms, whether it's the fairy realm or the Palladians or just seeing things or feeling things or hearing things or sensing things, or there's so many, and there are proper names. I'm just doing with the real basics of it, but you know what I mean, so it's really getting in touch with that sexual energy will open things up, and it'll give you, I feel like by doing it, it gives you a bit more peace and a bit more calm and a bit more grounding, but also opening up to your womb space and your magic. So when I say magic, it means the magic in your womb space and your gifts. We do a lot in the Academy and the Red Lotus Circle, which is, in a lot of places called Red Tent. We went with something different. We went with the Red Lotus Circle, and that's, because it's like a flower. It's about opening up and blossoming and embracing our magic and really tapping into that wisdom, but also too, you know, there's ancestral stuff there, there's past wound healings that need there, current wound healings, but there's also magic. And with all the lifetimes we've lived before, it's not about just healing the wounds, it's about reawakening, remembering those gifts that you have in there to start using them in this life, to really embrace, to own. You know, yes, a lot of us have had times where we have been literally crucified and tortured for owning our gifts and sharing our gifts. And I really understand that. Trust me, I do, because I've had my own, and stuff still keeps coming up. To share, I had the other week a past life where it came up, and it was in the 1800s, and I was on my own, and there, you know, I had the herb garden, and yes, people would come to me for, you know, I guess that herbal medicine and that kind of that witchy side of things, and it took just one woman in that town to be, I guess it was her own stuff that came up, jealousy and issues that came up, and from there it sort of snowballed, and then I was crucified, I was tortured, and I was killed for it. And I remember looking at this going, okay, what am I here to learn? And it was that real, I got to see, goosebumps, I really got to see and feel, you know, that disharmony and that disconnection between the sisterhood and how it happened. And, you know, in the academy, we the fears that we focus on for women are not being good enough, not worthy enough, fear of being judged, lack of confidence, and a lack and fear of self-love. And from this past life, I got to see how those 5 fear factors, really within the sisterhood, how it was the hurt and the pain that came with it. And in this lifetime, one of my, I don't know if it's lessons or passions or purposes, all in one maybe, is to really bring that back, really make that connection again, really bring that back in with women, and really make them know. No, I can't make them know, but, you know, give them a sacred space and tools and support, lots of support, mentoring support, to, you know that they are good enough, so good enough for everything their heart desires and more, that they are so worthy, to know your own worth and how worthy you truly are, and judgment, and how the fear of judgment really blocks us, and really, you know, fear of judgment, comparison, but that judge, how, you know, when we're judging someone else, is a judgment within ourselves, not of somebody else, and how that really has a negative impact on all levels. And also too, the lack of confidence, you know, confidence, owning our power, standing in our power, the lack of, you know, switching lack of confidence to being confident of stepping into our womb space, owning our magic, owning our gifts, sharing them, and then, really owning our magic and owning our power and standing in it, and how confidence, you know, because, what would other people think of me? Again, judgment, you know, not good enough, worthy, you know, and all that sort of stuff. And the lack of fear of self-love, you know, there's such, and it is happening more and more, but that stigma of, oh no, that's vain, or I'm being selfish. No, it's not. That is not it. It's so far from the truth. So it's really breaking those, the lack and the fear of that self-love. And again, like we said before, it's about filling your cup up, making sure that, and that overflow, the more you overflow that energy, the more you can give to others, and the quality is like huge. It's massive. So the more that you can open up, the more you can do that, the more that you can give to other people. So, you know, and that past life was also about really looking at my magic powers and being a connector, and really being able to hold sacred space, but really working with women to uncover those 5 fear factors, and those, and then, because, you know, it works on fear. Fear is the emotion, is fear of feeling not good enough, not worthy enough, lack of confidence, being judged, and the self-love. The shadow is something that's happened, or happened many a times. So whether it's in a lifetime, or, you know, what are the events that haven't left you confident. You know, someone told you that was shitty, you know, you've done something really creative, poured your heart into it, and someone said that's really crappy, that's not really good enough, and you've walked away with these fears. So, you know, when you look at the shadow, it's at the event, and it could have been something past life, you know. But also too, then it's looking at the shadow work. The shadow work's going into it, really looking at it. So from this past life, I was then going, okay, so shadow work. Okay, what have I learned from this? Okay, I've learned the effects of these 5 fear factors when they are fed by the gremlin mind. Look at how dangerous they are. Look at the negative effect they have, and even then after that lifetime, once I was killed, I was able to see the effect that had, like, from my death, because what I guess I didn't realize the effect I did have in a positive way on that community. So I got to see what had happened and all that sort of stuff. So now I can look at that and use that to go, okay, now we have this sacred space, we have this academy, but you know what, I need to really be talking more about it, really emphasizing it more, because, you know, it's a huge thing out there, and it's lifetimes, it's past life stuff as well as this lifetime that's carried over, and you know what, it needs to shift. It doesn't have to be this way. We are born to stand in our power, support each other. Doesn't mean you have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. But doesn't mean, you know, but I can come from a place and go, okay, this is part of your journey. This is part of your contract. This is what you need to go through. You know what? I'm here for you. I support you. I don't understand it, and I don't need to, but I can still be here for you. I can still support you. I can still send you love and be in that loving sacred space. Okay, so I've done plenty of talking. So when I get caught into this, I just look at the time like, oh my God, it's like 10 o'clock already. Holy, like, just time flies when you're having fun. So if you've got any questions or anything like that, please ask. Even if you're watching this video way down the track or even later on, please ask questions. I love questions. I'm a generator. I respond to manifest really well. I work better on questions asked and generating and reacting or responding, from those questions. So I love questions, and there's no such thing as a silly question except for the ones you don't ask. So please ask questions. If I don't know, I will be honest, say I have no absolute idea. You know, sometimes in the academy I get asked astrology questions. I'm really fascinated by it, but it's not something I know a lot about from a teaching point of view and sharing point of view, because it's just not what I do, and it's not my zone of genius or even close to it, unfortunately. But you know what, there are plenty of others out there that it is, and love to share and connect with what they're doing and what, you know, because they have some amazing things to share as well. So please do ask questions or put some insights or anything like that. So that's our focus for the week. I hope that helps. Or when you're watching this, you know, even it's down the track, you know, we did last week was on our cycles and all that sort of stuff. You know, if you've got questions about that, please ask. You know, this isn't a one quick fix. There is no such thing as a one quick fix. And it comes down to you doing the journey work and going through. Again, it's kind of like, you know, if you're sitting in this crappy place here, you're making a choice consciously. And by saying this, I'm making it consciously aware to you now. You can keep going on by holding on those scars, those wounds and all that kind of stuff. And it's just going to go and it's going to get bigger throughout your life. You can go along now. Go deeper, do that deep work, get right into it. Yes, there's hurt, there's pains, there's challenges. It's like pulling back that friggin' arrow. But once you go down and deep and you move through it, you come out up here. So when you come up out here, you know, it's much better. You're lighter and things open up and you start creating the life that you want and you friggin' goddamn deserve. So anyway, I'll be asking. Yes, Sarah, please do. I do. I love questions, and I've really learned a lot about myself lately. That, you know, and I always say, ask questions, ask me questions. I love questions. Ask me questions. So, you know, because I want to see you succeed. I want to see you standing in your power. I want to see you owning your friggin' power. I want to see you shining fucking so brightly that we've all got to put sunnies on. So, and I'm getting goosebumps. It's going to make me cry a bit. So please do. So anyway, thank you so much. It's been a blessing, and I will be back next Monday for this reading. Again, we have Hump Day readings on Friday. Awesome. I do have to message you about something too, Sarah, about keys. So yes, Hump Day, we have Hump Day readings. Please feel free to share this video. I'd be absolutely love and honour if you could share this video. The more it gets out, the more message, the more when we get standing in our power, the more we're going to be lighting this world up. And also too, tonight, if you have any questions, I'll quickly just find the link. Tonight we have an intro to Women's Circle. So if you've never been to a Women's Circle before, we do them in the Academy. But if you want to experience it, see what it's like, please come along. Hang on, I just got it. Typing and doing stuff is not my thing at the same time. Hang on. What? Hang on. Yeah, so it's an intro circle. Come along, see what it's all about.
there. If you click on that link, it'll go into more detail on what happens, what we do in that. So that's a great way, and it's in the Academy. It's at $20 because it's part of the pack. When you come into the Academy, it's actually worth over $900 with everything we do in just 1 month. But you know what? This is a great way. If you don't want to join and have all that, you can just join, come along, and see what it's all about. Connect with other amazing women, and it's at half price. It's only $10, so it's awesome. So yeah, so please do as well. And yeah, so. Hi Emma. So yeah, you'll have to go back and watch. I've just about finished. Thank you so much for sharing. I really, really appreciate it. So yes, again, ask questions. I know I'm going to say it 100 times. I'll keep saying it. All right, gorgeous goddess. Blessings and love. Bye.